Pincott.
And Sam Pincott, and today we're at property Bellevue, the home of Holbrook Paddock eggs. The farm is about 800 acres and a core business is free-range eggs. So we've got approximately 15,000 birds on farm, which does include our replacements coming through. And we also run the birds in conjunction with an agistment cattle enterprise. And those numbers vary depending on the season and grass availability. There's about 350 sort of weaner and heifer replacements on the farm at the moment. We have sort of 10,000 layers at any point in time. And generally a day's collection is about 7,500 eggs, which then equates to sales of approximately 4,000 dozen a week that we're selling as a packed saleable item.
The hot summers are our really challenging times. In terms of the wet, we've had a couple of wet winters here. This winter just gone has been particularly wet.
And we were getting portable sheds bogged, tractors bogged regularly, utes bogged. Like it was just, it was really challenging. Yeah, it was really challenging.
We have to come out to the chooks every day and collect eggs, rain, hail or shine. So in the really wet periods that we've had, that has proved very challenging.
And even getting their supplementary feed out, what we would normally tow a feed wagon with a ute out to the paddock to fill them up, just hasn't been possible in those wet periods. To begin with, in the early stages, we had more drier, hotter years, and they were really challenging from the welfare and wellbeing of the hens that flowed through to the business. I spent a lot of summer out with our fire truck hosing the ground down so the hens could dig themselves in to stay cool, to stay alive. We have had one particular day where our water system wasn't adequate and we lost a lot of birds, and that was detrimental to the business at the time.
That's what's prompted us to look for other ways and look for how we can modify things and do things better to adapt the business and the day-to-day management of the birds for that hot weather.
In any of these extreme seasons, be it a drought or a flood, and now we've experienced both several times now, where it catches up on us at a business level is our supplementary feed cost, which is our most highest significant cost that we incur. That's where the effect comes through. So we saw in the drought period, our feed price went from about $500 a tonne up to over $850 a tonne. It's a massive, massive change to our cost of production, and that's what's led us to where we are today. From a general management point of view, we've sort of broken things down from a soil health point of view and then sort of wider biodiversity that we're trying to attract onto the farm. So from our operational grazing perspective and management for the soil, it's that interaction between the cattle going through first, knocking the grass down, their manure and waste as well, followed by the chooks coming through, spreading that out. Foraging, they can break worm cycles for the cattle. Their general foraging, scratching nature is their little aerators. So we're getting amazing results, and through our monitoring that we've seen, the soil biology, the amount of worms that's in the soil at the moment is phenomenal, especially after this wet year. We've been wondering what impact that's going to have. We know that the quality of our grass is improving all the time. Our monitoring of species, we're getting more perennials starting to come back into the system, which is amazing compared to we literally couldn't find one when we bought the place. As far as the infrastructure on the farm, we have pulled out a lot of the cross fences, so we've put in extra fencing to create 4 big long paddocks. The length of the laneways or paddocks are about 1.5 kilometres, which means from when animals, especially the chooks, have been in one spot, it's at least 9 months before they come back to the beginning of that laneway again. But it's actually even longer from a recovery point of view, and that nutrient transfer that happens, it's more like a couple of years to when they're back in exactly the same spots. It's very easy for our strip grazing of the cattle, management-wise. The plants could really utilise that nutrient that we're putting into the soil rather than having it actually build up to an overload. We have incorporated a reticulated water system coming from a bore down the other end of the property, which gives hydrant access every couple hundred metres for portable water troughs for the cattle, so that we're not bearing out a particular area around a trough, and also portable hoses that now attach to our chook sheds. So this is our portable hoses coming in, supplying our water for the birds. So this line does their drinking water, and then this line, which is currently off, is their misting system, which keeps them cool. It revolutionised what we were doing We've now got just a very simple misting line that goes the perimeter of the shed. So that comes on during summer on a timer, which just makes a beautiful, cool environment in here. We get good airflow as well, which really helps with that, the misting system. And then the second component to the water in here, this stormwater pipe is our drinking system for the birds. So we just developed this ourselves. So there's just nipples, so we're actually using the water as an insulator to keep that water cool. So that water there is absolutely beautiful right now. There's just improvements all around for hen welfare, business bottom line. We've made huge steps forward in infrastructure. So our third arm to the management is the broader biodiversity aspect that we like to focus on. So we're currently in one of our tree corridors that we planted 7 years ago, and we've done a whole perimeter. This goes right around the whole farm, and there's a corridor through the central part as well. Planted through the Holbrook Landcare Bushlinks program, which has enabled us to have really a double boundary, which is great from a buffer zone. But more importantly, it's just provided a fantastic environment for birds, other wildlife, a lot of ecology coming in that we've got a strong belief that that'll then filter out into the paddocks, which will do huge benefit to the wider ecosystem on the farm.
When we come into these spaces and do bird surveys or just walk through, it's a really nice place to be in, and it's something I'm very proud of because this is sort of part of our big plan, big picture of what we're wanting to achieve, and I think we're doing it really well in this space.
The Holbrook Landcare group have a weather station right on our boundary, so we can monitor the weather remotely, and so that will record not only the rainfall that we're getting, but it will record wind direction and speed, temperatures. It keeps all that data as we can look back get historic results as well. We can look at the Goanna app the weather station runs through and see that, the wind's doing this, so wind's really critical on a hot day for us to move the temperature off the birds, or the temperature's doing this, so are we at our critical point to go and turn our misting systems on, or are we okay today? So to have that tool in our pocket on our phone and not be on farm it's really valuable. Through our learning and through our improvements of the farm and our soil, those hot periods are not nearly as challenging for us as they once were. We've got more innovation in the sheds. The fact that our ground cover is better, the farm in general isn't as hot for the birds. So we've certainly been able to adapt things to be more resilient from their welfare and as a business, because our production now over summer really doesn't change a lot throughout our more milder seasons of the year compared to what it did. Whereas this year, probably been wetter, but we haven't had a tractor bogged once. We've been able to get around the farm. Nothing's really been, we've had the odd ute bogged here or there, but I think our soil structure is really beginning to kick into gear, and our species are improving. The dry matter that we've got, or the bulk of grass that we're growing, and that biology in the soil, I think has made a massive difference for this wet period that we've just been through.
I think you have to be open to adapt and change. From our business alone, it has evolved hugely since we started.
There's lots of tools, there's lots of different ways we can go out there and be reactive and adapt to the climate that is put in front of us at the time. So I guess my message for people around change is it's pretty simple. For me, you just bring it back to your core values again. Just be happy doing what you're doing and you'll do it well, and you'll be in that frame of mind to adapt to whatever's thrown at you.